Next up on the Ron Johnson Show, we got, I guess I can call him my cousin. We got the same last name. Charles Johnson, former Vikings wide receiver, Packer, Cleveland Brown. Charles Johnson, though, unique story. I ended up meeting Charles Johnson. My wife and I met his wife first at Grace Church in Eden Prairie. Our kids went to like preschool together and became friends with her at I think it was like the barbecue or cookout at the end of the year. And then later that year, the Vikings ended up, because my daughter was born in 2011. But then 2013, 14, 15, I started working for the Vikings doing stuff. And so then I see Charles later. I'm like, oh man, that's the same dude from daycare. And so Charles, as I welcome you to the Ron Johnson Show, man, let's talk about that. I got some cool pictures of you and I standing there at US Bank Stadium, when it first opened. How was that experience, walking into the stadium, opening day for the first game and just seeing it?
Yeah, man. I mean, first, thanks for having me on. But man, I remember when they built that stadium. My first 2 years there in Minnesota, we were outside at the Gophers stadium, so it's a little different. But when they built that stadium, just the excitement. I remember when we got to go down there the first time and just practice in the stadium. It was crazy, man. I mean, just to see something being built, see that transformation, then actually get to be one of the first people to get in there and actually get on that field and break it in, so to say. It was good, man. I mean, it was big for the city. It was big for us as players, and we loved it.
Yeah, and so going to that stadium, opening days, that season kind of went up and down. But one memory that stuck with me in that stadium was kind of like the coming out year of Stephon Diggs. Had some big moments here and there in that stadium. You see the pictures in the locker room of you guys getting ready for games. Just you can see him becoming who he is now. You saw his personality start to come out as the season got longer and longer. But when you look at Stephon Diggs and then Justin Jefferson, same thing, lightning in a bottle by game 3 and 4. He became a star as well. What are the similarities you see in Stephon Diggs and Justin Jefferson when you watch them from afar?
Man, I mean, I haven't got to really meet Justin Jefferson, but Stephon Diggs is one of my guys. So I remember when we drafted Stephon, Coach Stu came up to me. He's like, hey, I want you to take this kid under your wing. We just drafted him. He can go either way. He's going to be really, really great, or he can be out of the league in a couple of years just because of, I guess, his past history. So me and Stephon grew pretty close pretty fast. And I think it was the fourth game I went down with a broken rib. He got his time. You could see how frustrated he was not being able to address those first 3 or 4 games. He was just you could see, because that's just his mentality. Denver Broncos man coverage team. He got his time. I broke my rib. He got to get in there, and now everybody knows who Stephon Diggs is, right? And that's just been his approach from the very beginning. He's always the guy who wants to work the hardest. He don't want to lose, and he has just this passion, this desire to win. And I see that from afar from Justin Jefferson as well. His route running, his critique, how much he loves playing the game and he's excited about it. He don't just play the wide receiver position as hey, let's go out here and run routes and get open. Him and Stephon Diggs both understand the art of playing the wide receiver position and getting out there and learning how to get open and being creative with route running. And at the end of the day, they both know how to, just win and really impact the team on a high level.
Yeah, and this high level offense now that Justin Jefferson is going to be in. I mean, we saw the Rams, we saw Odell Beckham. We heard the stories. We seen Cooper Kupp. I mean, we know what Cooper Kupp does. Yeah. And so when you look at this Vikings offense and what they're going to be, because everybody has alluded to it's going to have a Rams look to it. Kevin O'Connell has said he's going to keep C.J. Ham and run a 2-back system still. C.J. Ham is going to play some H-back, lining up, motion into the tight end position. But when you think about that, 3 receivers, 2 backs, 4 receivers, 1 back, 2 receivers, 2 tight ends, 1 back, 1 tight end, 3 receivers. For the most part, it's always 3 to 4 wide with the Rams and Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings now, versus when you were there, it was kind of hey, we got to run the ball. We got to run the ball. Then we can pass. How exciting or how itchy would you have been to want to be in this offense?
Man, it'd have been super exciting. I mean, as a receiver, you want to get the ball, right? You want to be in the passing offense. That's just what you want to do. As a really good game for a receiver is 7 to 10 catches. That's really, really good game, right? Yep. So when you're in an offense that you're going to generate more opportunities, it's always exciting. Whereas I was there, I mean, we had Adrian Peterson, right?
Yep.
He's one of those guys that you got to get the ball in his hand. I mean, they got Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is unreal. They got a lot of talent there at the Minnesota Vikings. You got, like I said, Justin Jefferson. You got my guys, Thieves. They got some talented receivers. They got some talented skilled players and O-line, D-line. So I'm excited to see this offense, man. I mean, I really love what he did with the Rams, how he made that impact. But as a passing guy, as a receiver, I always say the offense goes as we go.
And so, and so looking at a bonus question, I got like 2 bonus questions for you. First, like in 2013, you went to the Packers, so you were able to play with Aaron Rodgers. What was that like? Like, what was Aaron Rodgers like?
Man, I remember, man, it was crazy. So, we do our first 2 days as rookie mini camp, and then the vets finally come in on that next following week. And I remember when he walked into the indoor facility, and one of the first things he says, he's walking over to us rookie stretch, and he's like, "Hey, where's that Charles Johnson kid everybody is talking about?" And I just remember being like just shot like a little baby. I raised my hand, and like he was really that guy, man. I've never seen a guy as committed as him to the craft. Like every other system I've been in, the offensive coordinator ran the team meetings, the offensive meeting. Aaron Rodgers ran the offensive meetings. He was the guy getting up there doing the installs, talking about it, calling guys out of the crowd to come up there and write stuff on the board or do hand signals. That's how he challenged us as rookies. And he wanted perfection. He wanted things done right. But he was also he had a certain type of swag. It's hard to explain, but I remember I got my first opportunity with him with the ones, like the second day of practice. They was like, "Hey, you get to go in there with the ones display." I knew my route, it was something easy. Sure enough, Aaron Rodgers starts audibling and giving me hand signals, and I end up messing up the route. And I remember him telling it plain as day. He was like, "Hey, Coach EB, don't put Charles back in with me until he knows his plays." I was like, "Man, it's my second day, and you're audibling and give me hand signals." But that's how he was. Like, he'd call us up in the middle of meetings, "Hey, get up here, Rooks, do all the hand signals." But he was committed to being great, and like it's unreal to watch him just throw the ball in practice. Like it was crazy.
Day 2 on the job.
Yeah, day 2 he got me good.
So last one. Kirk Cousins gets a lot of flack, but Kirk Cousins does throw for over 4,000 yards, but of course people want to say garbage time sometimes, but whatever you want to call it. What does Kirk Cousins have to do in order to be considered like an Aaron Rodgers or get Aaron Rodgers like respect? Because he probably only has about 3 or 4 years left, maybe, because he might go past that, but 3 or 4 good years left in his career. What does Kirk Cousins need to do to overcome some of those, I guess, talkers that want to say Kirk Cousins can't get it done?
Yeah, I mean, I love Kirk Cousins as a quarterback. His biggest thing that all the critics say is that he can't win in crunch time and big time situations. But I met Kirk back when I was in college. So when I was at Grand Valley State, every summer we would go to Michigan State, or they'd come to us and we do 7-on-7, Michigan State versus Grand Valley State. So that's when I first met Kirk my junior year. And I remember 7-on-7, like it was unreal. You couldn't stop him from throwing the ball. Like he made every pass, he done it right. And he has the natural arm talent. He has the mindset to be a really great quarterback. But a lot of people put everything back on the quarterback. Like, okay, if we lose in a big game, that doesn't mean the quarterback only lost. It's a team sport. So sometimes people forget about that, man. And being a wide receiver, I understand it the most because I know I don't get the ball unless the right play is called, the defense is in the right defense, the O-line block it up, the quarterback and center get the exchange, the running back picks up his check. So I know I'm dependent on everybody else on that team before I can even get a catch. So I'm never going to put it just on one person, man. This is the ultimate team sport. So it's the team collectively in those big situations. Are we really the best that we can be in those situations? And then we can filter it down to the quarterback. Like if he was going out there and just not remembering plays and stuff, that would be a different story. But
right.
He going out there and performing. It's just on a stage, I think as collectively as a unit, he just haven't been able to put it together with his teammates.